Hey, hi guys. This is Ryan again from this guitar channel that I do. This is likely going to be the first video of the Stratocaster series, which I mentioned in my last video, which I'll put a link down there so you can watch it and kind of find out a bit about me. But basically, this is going to be a scratch plate. Like, I'm going to put that on there. Like a you could say a hardware upgrade, where it's more like a visual upgrade, if you will. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking because I know that you don't really want to see that, and we're going to put the camera over there and we're going to start to upgrade this. Right then, so this is the Stratocaster at the moment. I've kind of put it like that, fancy position, so that kind of get a good look at it. That's kind of like a bit of an idea what it'll look like after. It should look quite nice. But yeah, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the strings. One thing that's actually great for taking off strings is that what's that? This little thing here. It's one of those things where you put it over the tuning pegs and it kind of does all that, like you twist it, and it makes you take the strings off a hell of a lot faster, which kind of makes the process a little bit easier. One thing as well, I'll be saving the strings because I don't really want to buy a new set. So a bit cheap like that. And I've got the great job of trying to pull all the strings out of the tuning machines, which I absolutely hate because it always feels like I'm going to snap them. One thing I've got to do as well is I've tried to get this video in under 10 minutes. Because it'll be one of my first videos on YouTube from Mardy about not letting people upload videos over 10 minutes for a while. So this video probably won't be in that much detail. Alright then, so now all the strings are off. I'm going to unscrew the pickguard. Do this bit first, just take the hat off of this switch off, and then I'll take all the pots off, which I might be able to do now with a screwdriver. I don't really want to force it. Oh, wait. One thing that you should be always really careful of is that on these different pots, can you see how, like in between that one, there's just the line in between it. Like in between each one, they've all got a line in between them. Be very careful about that because it's happened to one of my pedals in the past and I've had to put a new one in. But what happens is, because they're kind of like two, like this, if you end up like putting too much pressure on one of them, it kind of like starts to go all wobbly and they kind of close up. It means that when you put your volume pots and your tone pots back on, they don't really fit properly and they always fall off. So make sure that you're always careful of that when you're taking them off. Alright then, so I've took all the screws off on the outside, and then what you want to do is just collect them all together. Because the last thing that you want to do is, you know, you try and like take your scratch plate off and then your screws go fall everywhere and then you ain't got enough screws to put it back on. Because that would just suck. So now I'm just going to try and... Okay then, so now you can see I've actually got the scratch plate off the body now. And what I need to do is, well, disconnect everything now. So one thing you should always make sure you do is, what I haven't done, is actually remember your tools. So I'm going to have to go up and get something to remove them because I'm an idiot. I'm just going to have to unscrew it there so I can get the toggle switch off, and then unscrew the screws next to the pickups so that I can remove them as well. Alright then, so now I've actually been up to the workshop and I've actually got the right size spanner. So now that I've got that, I can remove the pots from the guitar. What I'd advise doing is probably just loosening them. It's kind of like a sensible, so that you can up to the point where you can undo them with your hands. Right. You're just going to be there forever, just trying to do it with a spanner. So undo it with your hand like that, then it'll come through like that, and then just put the bolt back over it and tighten it. You need to make sure as well that that you don't mix these up, or else that'd be pretty bad. So what I'm going to do is, once I've taken it off, I'm going to lightly just put the pot back on. So I know that one's the volume one now. Okay, so then I have got the first tone. Right then, so what I've chose to do when I've took the pots out is, first pot I've put the volume on, the middle pot there I've left it with nothing, and then the last pot there I've put the tone back on, so that way when I put them back I know which order they go back in, tool to speed things up. That is actually one thing that you should always avoid on guitars. Try to avoid using drills, because guitars are quite tough things, but then when you're dealing with all the wires like this, they are actually quite delicate. Right then, just for the sake of saving time, I'm going to tell you what I do for this bit, and then I'm just going to skip through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo each of the screws next to the pickups. So I'm going to do all 6 screws there, and then the pickups will fall out. But what you should be careful is, the way that pickups work is that when you tighten and loosen them, on the actual pickup itself underneath there, which you can't really see from that angle, but there is a spring between the thread and the actual scratch plate. So just as you take them off, be careful that the springs don't come off, because then you have to buy new springs and it's a bit of a hassle, because then your pickup don't work properly. Alright then, so now you can see the guitar's in a bit of a mess. There's the old scratch plate, just the white one. So then that's going to be the new one on it. So there's quite a big difference, but yeah, it should be really good. And I'm not going to show putting it back together, because it's fairly easy, it's self-explanatory. So just kind of watch the video back in parts if you want to know how to put it back together. So after this, I'll provide you with an update and I'll show you what it actually looks like. Alright then, so it's actually been installed now. I'll go to the outro in a second. But one thing that you really should be careful about is, as you can see, I've actually got 5 screws left over. That's because different pickguards might have holes cut out in different places for screws. So as you can see, mine's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. My new one's only got 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. This one's got 4 on either side, and then 1 next to the neck each side. So just be careful that when you're putting the screws in, you put them in the right places, everything like that. 1 or 2 of them have had to go in, not completely straight, but if it's like one like there and there, where it'd have to be a complete new hole, I've just left them, because it's only going to be on here temporary, and it's not worth drilling a complete new hole. The other thing is, just make sure that you got your pots on right and everything. All your switches are fine. And yeah, now it's just time to put the strings back on, and then we've finished. Alright, so that's the end of the video now, guys. Just thought I'd give you like a little bit of an outro clip. That's the actual it itself, with the well, as before it was white, like the parts and the switch, but now it's this aged pearl kind of pickguard. I think it looks really good. Kind of looks better than what I actually thought it would do in the end. One thing I did as well when I was putting it all back together, I managed to snap an E string, which yeah, whatever. So I'll have to buy new strings for it. But that's everything. So subscribe to the channel to see more upgrades in the future, and I guess I'll see you later.